Assalamu alaikum, family. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. And today I want to talk about love and peace and creating safe spaces where love and peace can live and flourish. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Give y'all a couple minutes to get in here, and I'm gonna do a quick meditation. I'll see y'all in about 3 minutes. All right.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum and happy Friday, everyone. Is it Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. I hope everyone is doing well. It's been a busy week for me, and setting out to be a very busy day as well. Um, and I think when I did my little live yesterday, I was giving you guys some updates on some things that I'm working on and what we're looking to do. And so forgive me this morning because we're not going to talk as long, but God willing, we'll be strong. Won't be talking as long because I have some things I need to go do. And I got shoddy internet where I am. And so I don't want to use up too much data and then it ends up cutting us off. Okay. And so I'm working from my iPad. So it looks a little wonky as well. Um, so, you know, somebody sent me something. Let me tell y'all how crazy this internet can be. And this is why I tell y'all, those of you all who nurse this social media stuff all the time, when I tell you it's programming you, please believe me. Please, please believe me. Stop nursing these phones, this internet. Stop nursing that and make sure you're studying and balancing out some real science. Because I think what happens to us is that we start believing, what we're seeing, and it make us feel like we're so powerful because like we got access to so much information. And in a sense, we do. But remember that there's science and there's real science out here. And what I've been doing is balancing myself with the study of real science, quantum physics, chemistry, psychology, because the body works a certain way, the brain works a certain way. But these folks on the internet will have you thinking, look, you can just do what you want to do, how you want to do it your way, and it don't matter. But there's science out here. Okay. And you best believe that when they're creating their artificial intelligence, AI, they're basing it on patterning your behaviors and manipulating the real science behind it so that you end up in a position where you can't tell the real from the fake. But anyway, that's just I just been hearing people like, no, I've seen this but you gotta have a foundation, you gotta have science, you gotta study. Okay. You got to be found studying today. We have to be found studying. We really got to be scientists ourselves. If we're going to be able to outpace these algorithms, you got to study health, nutrition, metaphysics, um, study for your mental health, study, because they will have you thinking that you could get hooked on to somebody who's on this good old internet on here, like on YouTube University or something, they have you going down a rabbit hole. You hear me? What y'all drinking today? I got me some just straight up decaf. What is this? Vanilla creamer, vanilla oat milk creamer. Um, all right, so this is a funny thing. Somebody sent me this. It was a photo of Rosa Parks standing with what was supposed to be her husband in front of a car. And the caption said, the internet is mad because nobody knew that Rosa Parks had a car. Really, y'all? First of all, didn't nobody say the woman didn't have no car? Nobody said she didn't have a car. She just chose to be on the bus. Maybe she was on the bus because it was easier. Maybe she didn't want to pay parking. I just laughed because I was like, who's making up this stuff? And these trolls and people are sending it around. Somebody sent it to me like, girl, can you believe this is a fraud. Rosa Parks had a car. Who said she didn't have a car? Did she ever say, look, y'all, I'm on a bus because I ain't got no car? Maybe she just took the bus because it was more convenient. Maybe her husband had to go to work further, and so it was easier for her to, I don't know. But who said the lady never had a car? And how does that make it a fraud? Well, yes, there were other people who refused to sit on the back of the bus prior to Rosa Parks. She happened to be at the right place, the right time, had the right background, and worked in the right place. But come on, y'all. Nobody said she didn't have a car. It just reminded me of what I was inspired to chit chat with y'all today about. And that is the idea of finding your tribe or your family and being able to build a community, a circle of peace and love. A group of people where you can trust your feelings to without competition or jealousy or anger. You know, a group of people where you can love and be loved without manipulation or challenges. This is very, very important, and it may or may not be, familial in terms of bloodlines. It may be community based, people that you all are close, you love each other, but it's really important right now in this day and time that we find like-minded people that we can connect with. Somebody, when you feel a certain way, you can make a phone call and say, hey, how you doing? Somebody who just got your back, who supports you. That is really, 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 really important. Really critical. Let me tell you why. Because as we start to move and navigate into what is on the horizon, I think there's going to be a lot of challenges out here. You don't have to be psychic to predict that. You see, they just reenacted selective service. So people have to register for the military or for selective service if you're between the ages of 18 and 26. What does that mean? Probably means that they're preparing for a war, that they think that they potentially may have to enact the draft. And I don't think this matters who's in office or what the president is. This has to do with the military and the people who really run the government, who are saying we might be about to go to war. And in these types of times, you got to find your circle. Where can you go if you need something? It's time out for this rugged individualism. We were talking about this last Thursday at an event I was at. We got to get out of it. We got to get ourselves out of it. It's time to start building that circle. Somebody who's going to check on you if they don't hear from you. Somebody who you check on, right? We're going to have to build that circle. Where's the love coming from? Where are you going to get some extra food or some extra money or some extra stuff? Let's say you live in an area and your power goes down. Do you have some place where you can go? And are you a space of refuge for somebody if they run into a situation? But I think that in order to create the right environment during these times that we're going into, and I don't want to sound gloom and doom and say that they're necessarily going to be bad times, because I know I found that in some of the most challenging times of my life, I have received or uncovered more spiritual gifts. I've been discovering a spiritual gift in the last 3 to 4 months, 3 to 4 weeks, I would say, that I have, because I've been going through some challenges, and a spiritual gift just has come up and become really strong and really active on a day-to-day basis. And so I think that as we're going through this stuff, we're going to get sharper. We're going to get better if we do it the right way. It can be a time of love. It can be a time of thriving. It can be a time of surviving. But let me tell you, you don't want to be, it's like during the pandemic, right? You don't want to be holed up with somebody who got an attitude. You don't want to be sitting there with somebody who's not supportive and who's not loving, who's irritated all the time, mean spirited. That's fine, because there's somebody for everybody. but find you a circle of people where when things go down, you can go, hey, I got to get on a flight and go to my people, or I'm going down the street and go to my people, or I'm close enough around my people where we can get to each other. Figure out what that tribe looks like to you. Um, Being this rugged person, let me just, I don't need nobody, I don't need no help. That is not going to work, because we are going to be in a position, if nothing else, if certain loved ones get drafted and we're going through the pain of worry, having prayer circles and support systems and places where we go to get information are going to be very, very, very important, extremely important. And so I just want to talk about that today. Okay, let me see y'all in the chat. Good morning, Mother. I see she's there. Sister Monica says, great Friday morning, all. Mom said happy Friday as well. Let's see, I see that twice. Chief Kashif says, I like that background. Thank you for liking the background. Um, Nubia Latifa says, morning salutations, all. Sister Betty says, good morning. Thank you all for hanging in there during my little short time off. I got some good things planned for us. But let's also talk about setting an intention so that when we're in one another's spaces, that there's love and peace there. See, because love and peace is what's going to keep us sane if our children are drafted, if our nieces and nephews and godchildren and neighbors have to go to war. People went to Vietnam and didn't come back. When they came back, they didn't come back the same. People went to the Korean War and many of them didn't return. And when they did return, they didn't return the same. Same thing with Desert Storm, all these other wars and missions. I remember when we just graduated from school, from college, or I just graduated from college, and my brother got called off to go into Central America. And I remember calling out of work because I was just kind of messed up about it, right? I remember my sister-in-law was calling me. She was upset, and we were just trying to figure out what was happening. And I remember I called into work and I called to HR, and they said, and I told them, what was happening and that I was kind of messed up over it. And they said, the guy said, well, what difference do it make? What are you going to do about it? Just come into work. And I was like, wow, there was no comfort. There was no, man, come into work. My nephew just went, or come on in, it might be better for you to have something to do, or something like that, as opposed to, here's the difference. And that place I was working at that time was very cold, very very hard. And so they were very hard about that. And the next day, I remember later on that day, they called me and was like, look, you coming in tomorrow? Because he's still going to be deployed tomorrow. And I was like, wow. But then I remember where I was working when my father made his transition, and I think I had some things to do, and I was gonna go into work on the train and then get ready to go and head out and handle funeral arrangements and stuff. And when I got on the train, I just had a breakdown right in front of everybody on the train. And when I got off the train, I was walking, and one of my coworkers or somebody who worked in the office was like, you don't have to come in here today. We'll cover down for you. We got you. And I was like, okay. I turned right back around, got on the train, went back home, got ready to head out. And I remember one of the partners called me, and he said, Wendy, take the time you need. Do what you got to do. We'll be here. and call us when you get there and let us know you made there. And they were very supportive all along the way. And I was contracting for them. I wasn't even like an employee. Like I was an independent business consultant, and during the time when that happened. So it just made the process easier, and it was better for mental health having, a support system or somebody outside of the people that you're going through it with, who's like, hey, I got you. Don't even trip. Don't even worry about it. Um, so we want to start being intentional about creating that type of environment for one another. Chief Kashif says war or prison. Yeah. Um, Something's happening. And I think the more support we have, the more stable our mental health will be, because you can see people when they're going through stress, their mental health gets off. People start tripping, having anxiety attacks. It'll be better if we have a safe space where we can find comfort, um, seek refuge, have conversations. Obviously, you're always praying, you're always seeking refuge in Allah, you're always praying to God, but you're going to need some physical support down here on the ground as well. And I think it's very important to be intentional. So then some people say, well, how do I create that? Because I don't know that I know anybody that I'm comfortable with that. I think the idea is to try to be that yourself. Be that person that if somebody goes through something or they need something, um, that you're there. Be that person that you can just be a listening ear, not injecting yourself, not being angry, not being aggressive. Um, this is going to be extremely important. My friends and I have been talking about this for a while and just kind of creating a tribe. We've done it in the business and entrepreneur world. We were talking about it this week. We're like, look, you need anything, call me. If I can give some advice, if you're going through something, give me a call. Let me see what I can do to help. But I think that's going to be very important. And it's sort of a form of cooperative economics or cooperative community living as well, because, you know, when you have to only rely on what is in your mental capacity to do things, you're going to be limited because none of us know everything. And sometimes we're going through stuff, and the mental health challenges that we're having while we're going through it pinch us off from maybe the wisdom or the knowledge or access to information that might be right in front of our face. But having a circle where we can talk is important. That got a lot of us through the pandemic. That's what I want us to set up here on the Mind of an Entrepreneur, where we eventually are having think tanks and um, you know places where we go and we can meet up, and those that can't come to Chicago or go wherever we are and meet up can chime in via the internet, and we can talk and have conversations and share ideas, and you can feel comfortable and happy about what you're going through, knowing that you have some support. That's going to be, in my opinion, is really critical. And let me tell you, when I was researching the family that was the original developer of Sajdah House, the William French Burroughs family, I realized that was how they built, or a big part of how they built these huge businesses here in Chicago. I was looking at what you may call like a manifest or an dinner list, dinner list or invitation list from different dinners that they would have at the house. This was in like the early 1900s. And there were some really famous names on that list, like the Goodyears and the Hoovers. And these were people with small businesses. and they had a group of them. I never really saw more than 12 or 13 people on the list, that I read. They did have some parties that I believe they had up on the third floor, which was originally a ballroom, where I saw a longer list of people, maybe like 30, 40 people. But they were all names that I recognized as being business people. And I started looking at the subjects, and they were talking about how they entertained and how they sat and met with one another and brought their problems to the group. And anybody that had an issue, I was reading something where somebody came to the group and they were having a problem in their business. And so what they told them, the whole group kind of converged on that problem, you know, gave money, gave advice, offered resources, things like that. And then the obligation was that that person had to stay committed to the group and give back. And they made it such a big thing socially, where people wanted to come there. People wanted to hang out. Like, you wanted to have an invitation to these think tanks and to these dinner parties and these balls that they were having. You wanted that invitation because that was part of an inner circle that was helping to build these businesses and support the livelihood of these families, many of whom had just migrated from Europe. And so it was just a very powerful concept that I was reading and studying. And I said, we need that. We need that. We need a place so that if we have businesses that we are trying to open, or we have problems in our businesses, or problems in our family, or challenges, where there's a group that comes together and we're there for one another. We're supporting one another. So if you know anything about me, I'm really big on supporting people. I will support whatever's going down with you, whatever you need. I'm gonna do everything I can to um, be there for you. And it may not always be returned, right? But it's about creating that myself so that I can help to usher in that type of um, environment within our communities. And they don't have to be big. I think a lot of times we freak out and start talking about, yeah, Black people have to unite. We do have to unite as a people. But I think in this kind of thing, it may not be everybody. You may not be able to unite with everybody because you may not necessarily get along with everybody. But we can unite around supporting one another. We can unite around um, a common cause. We don't all have to be uniform. And many of us live in mixed neighborhoods. So it can't necessarily always be limited to race. We live in communities where there's all kinds of people. We have to find our tribe and find a way to be supported, and understand that the more successful the people in our tribe are, if you will. Now, I'm not talking about promoting tribalism or anything like that. We've had enough of that as Indigenous people. But what I am talking about is creating a group of like-minded people where love can flourish, trust can flourish, support, relief, So if you get up and go downtown and go to work and you're dealing with some challenges, you should be able to come back to your circle, to your tribe, to your people, and find some comfort and find some relief. You don't want there to be tension there, because that's when folks are going to start really going crazy. You think we're dealing with mental health issues now? People got to deal with mental health issues out there, and then they come back and they don't have family or a support system that is smooth and peaceful. People are going to really, really start snapping, and I think we'll get to the point where it's unsafe. So I think regardless of whatever our election outcome is and all of that, and we do have to start thinking more about local issues and how these elections impact us locally. I've learned that seriously, here in Chicago, and how we've made some local strides from being mindful of, who we put in office. And I've been impacted, and my businesses have been impacted by local government officials, um, in more of a good way than a bad way. But I also would like to say that we have to understand that what we need is so holistic that it's going to take a village. It's going to take a number of us, and it's going to take us to get out of this. I keep saying this rugged individualism. We're going to have to get out of that. We're going to have to get out of that. We're talking about foods. Some friends and I were talking about foods and organic foods the other day, and I was saying, well, you know what? I don't have a garden. I used to do this indoor gardening, little hydroponics, and I said, but you know what? If I'm in a community and I got a sister or a brother or a neighbor or a family member that has a garden, why can't I go over there and get some lettuce and some eggplant and some broccoli, right? Why not? Because a lot of times when you're harvesting and you're growing food, you grow so much, you've got to find some place to some place to use it, some way to get rid of it. So why can't I do that? So I think you guys understand what I'm saying. Let me know in the comment if you get it. It's a new concept for us a lot of times. A lot of us will say, well, we used to have that back in the day, but we don't have it now. We haven't had it in a while. And I think that our overall DNA and our whole soul structure has changed because we have not had that in so many, many, many years. Um, and it may not be structured the way it used to be back in the day. But we're gonna need that. We're gonna very, very much need that. Oh, this right here, brother, you hit the nail on the head. I believe that these events will open up people's gifts. It can be healing, telepathy, etc. 100%. And I think that the more of these types of circles that we develop, these trusted love circles where we can support one another, I think these gifts are going to usher in even faster, even faster. Um, because we're going to be working on solving problems together. We're going to be pulling on the universe. It's going to give us a little relief from survival mode so that our entire focus isn't on who we don't trust, who we don't like, what we can't do, and more so on, let me give a little love. Let me get a little relief from that. And getting relief from that is going to help open up those gifts. Because I'm telling you, in the last 3 to 4 weeks, from my own personal self, based on some of the challenges that I've had some tremendous gift, one tremendous gift in particular that has opened up. Sister Monica says, we were so communal. We had rent parties to ensure family didn't face homelessness. Simple activity, but very communal. Yeah, I think we have to get back to some form of that. Just support and love. Support and love, whether it's a rent party or whatever, but it just, a school party, getting people's children's tuition done. Just support folks going through stuff on their job. They're going through divorces, they're going through homelessness, they're going through people just having mental health issues, and people respond to things differently. I watch how you can have the same stimuli and one person will get angry and evil, another person may just get emotional, and another person may just get quiet, but everybody responds differently to the stimuli. But we're going to have some stimuli, I think, at the end of this year or this year that's really, really going to impact a lot of our mental health. And when they put that out, talking about the selective service, I was like, here we go. Because I don't know if we're ready for that. And I don't know that our children are ready for that. All right. So, my My thought for us to begin working on is to be the love that we seek. Be the love that we seek. Be the support that we seek. Be the hug that we need. Whatever we need, become that. If you need a hug, then give somebody a hug, right? If you need somebody to call you and say, "Hey, how you doing?" then call somebody and give what it is that you want to receive. Don't just sit in your house and go, "Well, I ain't heard from them. They ain't called me." Well, sometimes people may act a fool and cut up, and they may tell you they don't want to be bothered with you. Some people may say straight up, "Leave me alone. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. Don't say nothing." And that's okay. That's okay too. Now you know what to do and what they don't want, but it doesn't mean that you can't still be loving and caring and peaceful, but it's going to be very, 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 very supportive. Very important. Make sure you know your neighbors, know who they are. Um, you know, if you can find a way, and I'm not saying y'all got to be ace boon coons, but know who they are. Know your neighbors so that if something happens, and look out, you see anything different, something weird, say, "Hey, I noticed, such so and so," and you'd be surprised at how much you could help somebody just from an observation. But let's be more neighborly and let's be more supportive. Um, a lot of us are so afraid of being hurt, but you're going to be hurt anyway. You can either sit there by yourself and be hurt, or you can go be with some other people and be hurt, but you're going to be hurt anyway, because sitting by yourself, nursing the internet, nursing, negative things that's happening, it's going to hurt you anyway. You're going to hurt your mental health. So you're just going to go downhill faster. You can see it in people's faces that they're not nursing love and light. So why not get hurt if you feel like you're going to get hurt anyway by interacting with other people. And let me say this one last thing. I don't know if a lot of us understand the power of being a human being. You can only get to that divine God power through being a human being and through another human being. You can watch all the television you want. You can nurse all the internet you want. But God works through people. And for those of you who don't understand that, God is a person, a flesh and blood person. Always has been. They tell you that in the Bible. He walks, he talks, he sat, he eats. Go look in your book, all of that. I'm not going to get into that today, but yeah, he walks, he weeps. All these things that humans do are used to describe God in your Bible, in your Holy Quran, in anything that you read. He sat with people. He went to people's houses. He dined with them. People touched his feet. um, I'm being silly, but you could go on and on about that. So even AI, even artificial intelligence, it has to continue to learn how to be human in order to create the formulary that's going to get it to that divine power. And even then, we can always go beyond. So when you see a person and you see love and light in their face, that's because they're getting that love and light from somewhere. When you interact with people who love you, that light is shared between the two of you, and it illuminates your cells in your body and you see it in your face. There's a vibration of a lonely person. There's a vibration of a loner. There's a vibration of a person who is rugged and individual and non-trustworthy. That person has a vibration, and that person has a look. They have a texture to their skin, because human touch, human interaction, human love changes literally your DNA. I was on an interview yesterday. We're doing these interviews with some of our elder members of the Nation of Islam, and every person that we talked to, the love was so palpable. There was one sister, you could see the love just jumping off of her face. And they were talking about, they were giving their ages and things like that, but you could see the love jumping off of their faces, and you could see them volleying with love as they interacted with us and used that as energy to fuel them and excite them. And you could see it in their faces. So don't forget to understand energy. Play with energies. Energy doesn't lie. It's physics, it's metaphysics, it's quantum physics, it's a science. Okay? So you got to find a way to inject new energy and new life into yourself, or just to exchange it. If nothing else, by just going out and saying hello to somebody, saying assalamu alaikum, saying grand rising, saying peace and blessings, saying how are you? Smile at somebody. Just smiling is an exchange of energy that can illuminate someone's face. It's going to send love and light to their cells in their body that you're going to see bouncing off of them. All right. I think y'all get the picture. I think you got it. Tune in tomorrow for Saturday morning coffee talks. If you got a subject you want to talk about, bring it with you. Pop it in the chat. I'm happy to talk about it. But I just been really, that subject has been on my mind, the one we talked about today. So we may continue it, but learning how to use energy from other people is going to be really key as we move forward in this world where there's going to be a lot of things happening that are beyond our control. Some of y'all may be saying, well, I lived through the Vietnam War and this has happened before, but see, there was no internet. You wasn't sitting up looking at it 24 hours a day. You could turn the news off. But we're now in an information age where when anything bad happens, it gets multiplied because it's everywhere. And that changes the reality of it. It changes how people react mentally and emotionally, but it makes a huge difference. Also, the other side of that, if a person has negative energy, if they have a mean spirit, you have to know how to step aside. You got to know how to sidestep that energy. You got to know what to say in your head when somebody shoots some mean negative energy towards you. What do you say? How do you get around that so that that does not absorb into you and affect your cellular structure in a negative way, especially if it comes from somebody that you love or you respect? So these are things that, we're going to talk about here in the next couple talks. Okay, family. If you got anything out of today, we ask that you give a love offering. Just go to Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. Give a love offering. I want to continue to try to make this for free. This is valuable content. I know that a lot of people are going to subscription basis, but we want to try to offer this in a different kind of way. We're also looking for advertisers and sponsors for the upcoming series. So if you're interested in that, just send me an email, mindofanentrepreneur today@gmail.com. Again, love offering, Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. If you have not gotten your commemorative Elijah coin, trust me, you're going to want that coin. Go to supportsajdahhouse.com. And if you want to book me for business consulting, if you need a coach, a trainer, you got a problem you need to solve in your business, then just go to book sajdahwendymuhammad.com. My schedule has opened up. I had a couple clients to drop off. If you are looking to have someone to support your business, to help you get your business open, to scale your business, or like I said, just to solve a problem in your business, or to just, some people bring me on just to kind of run past where they are with their business, depending on where their fiscal year end is. Some people do it quarterly, where they'll just come in and say, hey, can you take a look at where we are? Let's talk about it. Almost like an ad hoc advisor or board member. I do that as well. Also, public speaking. If you got something you want me to speak at, you can go to booksajdahwendymuhammad.com or send me an email, mindofanentrepreneur@gmail.com. But the schedule has opened up. So this is a good time to get in and grab me if you're trying to build a business or do a big project. I can help you out. All right, family, peace and blessings. Love you all. Happy Friday. Enjoy the summer. And may Allah continue to bless each and every one of you. To everyone watching, I'm wishing you more peace, love, and joy than you've ever experienced or imagined. All right, with that, family, I'll see you tomorrow morning.